Is this a church?
Salam, salam damai sejahtera teman-teman semua dimanapun kita berada. Tuhan Yesus terus menolong dan memberkati kita semua. Video berikut ini semoga memberkati dan menguatkan saudaraku sekalian. Jangan skip video ini karena ini adalah kesaksian anak seorang pemimpin Hamas. Kita tahu bahwa pemimpin Hamas adalah bagian daripada pejuang-pejuang rakyat Palestina. Namun dalam kesaksian ini teman-teman berbeda jauh dengan berita-berita nasional yang diberitakan di Indonesia bahwa militer Hamas itu adalah pejuang kemerdekaan Palestina. Bahkan mereka membela rakyat Palestina dan mengatakan kepada dunia bahwa jangan terprovokasi dan jangan mendengarkan apa yang selama ini diberitakan oleh TV-TV nasional bahkan di dunia dengan perilaku Hamas. Karena saya ini lahir dari keluarga Islam, bahkan ayah saya adalah seorang pemimpin Hamas, dan saya juga terlibat langsung dalam pembunuhan terhadap warga-warga sipil. Bukan saja orang-orang Kristen, orang Israel, orang Amerika yang mereka bunuh, tetapi termasuk saudara-saudara Muslim sendiri dibunuh. Apa yang mereka tidak sukai, mereka bisa datang ke sana untuk melakukan bom bunuh diri. Dan banyak orang yang terbunuh bahkan mati. Apakah ini ajaran Tuhan atau tidak? Apakah ini ajaran Al-Quran atau tidak? Dan disinilah ia kemudian sadar bahwa inilah bukan ajaran Tuhan, ajaran yang tidak benar. Dan saudaraku sekalian, dalam kesaksian ini ia berpesan kepada semua, ia berpesan kepada dunia, masyarakat dunia, untuk melihat bahwa Hamas saat ini sedang dikepung oleh militer Israel dan berharap semoga Hamas dilenyapkan ataupun di bumi hanguskan supaya tidak ada lagi di Palestina atau wilayah Gaza. Teman-teman sekalian, silahkan ikuti video ini, jangan skip supaya teman-teman juga tidak salah paham dengan apa yang disampaikan oleh anak pendiri Hamas ini.
But I guess we are at war. You know, and this is what happens during war. And I hope that we are not driven by fear. Also, I hope that we are not driven by anger. Because the other side is driven by revenge and hatred. I hope that we are driven by justice and by the power of love. Such a difficult time. And I'm trying to stay calm. But it's not easy. It's not easy because it's a responsibility. Especially for a person like myself. I have lived so many sides of this conflict. I was born in Islam, like many of you know. For those who don't, I was born for a Muslim family. You can say that I came through them, definitely not from them. And I love my parents. I honor my parents and I will honor them until the last day, until the last breath, regardless where they stand or what they do. You know, as they said, my father is one of the founders of Hamas, and he's still one of their leaders. How could I say yes to a suicide bomber going into a university, bus, market, beach, blowing himself up and killing all type of people? Muslims, Christians, Americans, Jews, Israelis, all type of people died in suicide bombing attacks. I did not see that this could be from God. Hamas is not to this side of truth. Anybody can argue, say, this is not the side of truth, but I prefer to be here. I don't want to be on the other side. And I will actually resist the other side that is lustful for territory, for power, to dominate, to kill my land. It's not your land. It's no one's land. It belongs to the divine. This is why tonight I accept to speak to a church. This is the first time actually in many years I speak to a church. Because I study history, and especially the history of the Holocaust. The Nazis infiltrated, they did not infiltrate the government at the beginning. They started infiltrating the church. This is where they started their movement. And once they took over the church, it became possible for them to do whatever they did later. This is a fact. So today when I look at the United States, and I know that the church, regardless of many different denominations, many different point of views, and there is so much talk, but I'm not seeing action. And there is lots of talk about truth, but I am not seeing the truth. So the time has come, in my opinion, for the church to rise. And I tell you why. Hence, the role of the church, especially in the United States, is significant at this stage of this conflict. We have a very deadly enemy. They're very dangerous. They're brutal. And they're out for destruction. In order to eradicate them, there is going to be more destruction. And I know it's very hard, because sometimes there is no way to achieve peace but through the use of force. Of course, we don't want the use of force to be the first option, not the second option. It's always the last option, the last resort. And of course, anybody can claim to say, I have no other option, I have to use the force. But now, I tell you that we are left with no other option but to stop this enemy. And if we don't counter them, they will become more aggressive. They will misunderstand our tolerance. And they will think that we are weak. Like this war, Israel did not start. Israel was at the most religious holiday. And they took advantage of that. Killing so many innocent people. Not only Israelis, Thai workers, American citizens, people partying. Only Hamas could do that. Israel in the Middle East represents order. It's not a perfect country. Hamas represents chaos. If I had to choose between imperfect country, political entity, or chaos, for myself, for my neighbor, for my friends, for my children, I choose a place where there is order. Not a place where there is absolute control of power, driven by hatred and human delusion. Hence, we say no to Hamas. That's not an option. Has nothing to do, that this is Christian, this is Jewish versus Muslim. Even though Hamas is rooted in Islam.
Ia memberikan sebuah statement bahwa ia tidak pernah membenci keluarganya, ayah dan ibunya sampai sekarang. Bahkan ia sangat mencintai mereka sampai akhir hidup mereka. Apapun yang saat ini mereka perbuat, apapun yang saat ini mereka lakukan, dimanapun mereka berada, ia tetap berdiri teguh, berada di pihak mereka, karena ia adalah bagian dari keluarganya. Namun saat di sisi lain, ia mengatakan bahwa perbuatan yang saat ini, perbuatan yang mereka lakukan itu adalah bukan ajaran Tuhan. Sehingga kemudian ia saat ini kita tahu bahwa ia kemudian murtad dan saat ini menjadi seorang Kristen. Ini sangat luar biasa teman-teman sekalian. Ya, tidak mudah seorang anak pendiri Hamas kemudian berpikir untuk mengikuti Yesus atau untuk membagikan kesaksian ini kepada banyak orang. Tentu ada misi yang lain, misi Tuhan di balik semuanya itu. Hidupnya diubahkan, keluarganya dibuahkan, nama Tuhan dipuji.